He wants to say, well, we've got a nature inclined towards sin, and we're born into a sinful world, and for that reason, we will certainly sin someday. And as I pointed out before, that only makes sense if determinism is true. Because if you've got actual free will, then nothing says you must sin in the future. Like, that's a violation of free will. That's an affirmation of determinism, to connect your future choices to your nature. That's determinism.
What would you consider logically possible versus feasible? If any moment of sin from this point forward, you leave this place, and let's say you're stopped by a police officer and you're tempted to lie to him in order to get out of the ticket, do you have the free choice as a Christian to say yes or no? And I think most people generally would say, yeah, you could lie or not lie. Well, that would be a choice of libertarian freedom.
Again, that's just choice in general. You're assuming libertarian freedom into that when you just say, well, you can make a choice to lie or not lie. Everybody believes that. The question is, why did you lie or why didn't you lie in that situation? And as soon as you start answering the why question, you're admitting determinism. As soon as you say, I did something because of X, Y, and Z, the root word of because is cause, and the definition of reason inherently has the word cause in it. Cause, justification, or explanation for an action or event. You give a reason that you did something, you are giving the cause behind the effect.
To do that with every single temptation you have from now until the end of your life, you could go to each one of those and say, well, yes, it's logically possible that you're going to make the right decision in any given moment. Is it feasible to suggest that a sinful person with sinful desire...
Now, I hate when they start talking about, oh, logically possible, but not feasible. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. I think it's like word salad to cover up glaring inconsistency. He just admitted that at every point of a decision of your life, you've got free will. You can either do or not do it. You could either choose A or B, all the way down the line. Well, if you're going to extrapolate that all the way down the line, then you don't get to come along and say, oh, but by the way, it's not feasible that you will always not sin. If free will were true, then you would have to have the hypothetical possibility of a perfect person who never sins, right? And just to say it's not feasible, why isn't it feasible? Listen to the answer.
Is it feasible to suggest that a sinful person with sinful desires in a fallen world with dozens of temptations hitting them every hour of the day with thoughts and attitudes and hearts that you would never, ever, ever, ever sin again? No, it's not feasible that that would happen. Is it logically possible? Yes, you can make that argument because at every point of temptation, the person, I would think a born-again person...
It's logically possible, but not feasible. Why? Because of all the reasons you listed off, temptation, desire, nature, like that's all determinative language, dude. That's you explaining the reason why at that one point in time you deviated and did something different. It's because of all these reasons, right? If free will were true, those reasons wouldn't matter. They're irrelevant. Now you have to talk about them because they exist and we know them to be true, but it's a complete contradiction to your entire worldview. And I love that just such a simple question can bring this sort of meltdown in the logical consistency of a position. Well, if libertarians' free will is true, why has there never been a sinless human? And this is the type of answer that you get. Total inconsistency. Well, yeah, they could be sinlessly perfect, but it's never happened because of all these non-determinative reasons?